Hello everybody, welcome back to another video with Lim Reviews. Now today is a super exciting day because Xiaomi just launched the Xiaomi 12 and 12 Pro, the global versions right here today in Malaysia. Now if you're in other countries, I believe that the devices will soon be arriving to you, the global version that is, because the China version has actually been out for almost 2 months now. So yes, I do have the 12 and the 12 Pro together with me today, and in this video we're going to be checking out everything that you might need to know in terms of the differences between the small and the big guy. Now first up, of course, we're going to start off with pricing right away. I don't want to waste your time. We're going to talk a bit about pricing first. The small Xiaomi 12 here actually starts off in Malaysia in 2 specifications. We have the 8 Plus 128 that's going for RM2899, and we also have a slightly higher capacity 8 Plus 256 going for 2999. So it's just ringgit difference to get that higher memory storage. Now in terms of the Xiaomi 12 Pro, we have only one spec here in Malaysia. It is the 12 Plus 256GB version. That means you're basically getting the highest spec that is available at the moment right now. Now for that device, you're going to have to pay RM3899, so it's quite steep actually. The difference between the price of the small Xiaomi 12 and the 12 Pro is actually approximately 900 to 1000 ringgit. So you must really hear out this entire video to find out which device is actually the suitable one for you. Now before we begin talking about the comparison between both devices here, if you just want to support the channel, don't forget to drop a like, sub to the channel. Thank you so much for doing that. Let us begin. Now first up, let's talk a little bit about the design. What's different here and which one you should actually go for? Well, in terms of the colors for both devices, we're only getting the black, the purple, and of course there is also the blue. We do not get the vegan leather kind of green here in Malaysia or even for the global launch. So 3 colors for you to choose from. Obviously, you can tell already that they look very different in terms of the size. One guy here is a 6.73 inch and this little guy here is a 6.28 inch. So one is very holdable in one hand and the other is a little bit of a slight stretch. So that's the difference in terms of the sizing. Now in terms of how slim they are, they're actually both very slim, as you can see on the camera. Super slim in fact, and we do have curved sides all around, both on the displays and at the back. Now apart from that, you notice that we do have the cameras at the back here, and they're very different in terms of specifications, which I will talk a little bit more later. But apart from that, yes, you do have stereo speakers for both devices. They do have Type-C ports at the bottom, and they both do not have headphone jacks. Alright, so now done with the design, let us talk a little bit about the displays at the front, because again, these are very different displays, not just in terms of size. Well, I'm going to start off with the Pro first because this is the one that I really like and the one that I've been using. Now, on the Pro, we actually have an awesome display. We have a 6.73 inch 2K LTPO AMOLED display. Now, what this really means to you is that apart from being an awesome AMOLED display, the main thing here is that you have a very high resolution, 500 plus PPI. That means everything is going to be crystal clear, and with the LTPO AMOLED display, you can actually have variable refresh rates, and this will actually help you to save on your battery life. Now in terms of the refresh rate, we have 120 Hz here, so everything is going to be buttery smooth, and of course it is protected by Corning Gorilla Glass Victus. Now moving on to the smaller Xiaomi 12. Now this is also a very interesting device here. Now although it comes in at a 1080p display, it is also AMOLED. It does not have the LTPO AMOLED display. That means it does not have variable refresh rates. But overall, I don't think it really also affects the battery life too much. Apart from that, it also has the 120 Hz refresh rate, and because of its small form factor, although it is using a 1080p display, but we are also getting a PPI, a pixel density of more than 400 here. So again, it is a very crystal clear display on the Xiaomi 12. Now, done with the displays, let's talk a little bit about something else which is also very different, and that is in terms of the cameras at the back. Now, you might notice that they look very similar, and in fact, on paper, some of you might get confused that they are actually the same sensors, but it is not. Again, let us start off with the one on the Xiaomi 12 Pro. Well, on the Xiaomi 12 Pro, it is very easy to remember. You have triple 50 megapixel sensors. For the main sensor, it is one of the newer Sony IMX707 50 megapixel sensor. The second ultra-wide is also a 50 megapixel sensor. And last but not least, you have a telephoto lens that is also 50 megapixels, and it does up to 2 times optical zoom. Now, moving on to the Xiaomi 12, the smaller guy here. Yes, the main sensor is also a 50 megapixel, but this time it is a Sony IMX766. Again, this is actually quite flagship considering it is one of the best sensors that we are seeing on the smartphone to date. So you're not missing out on a lot here. Apart from that, in terms of the ultra-wide, you get a 13 megapixel ultra-wide, and last but not least, you get a 5 megapixel telephoto lens. Now, in terms of picture quality, I would say that they both look very similar, even though they have slight differences in the main sensor. In terms of the ultra wide, definitely with the 50 megapixel on the 12 Pro, you will be getting higher resolution images, pictures that are just sharper and crispier. And in terms of the telephoto, you only get 5 megapixel here that will help with the portrait shots. But on the Xiaomi 12 Pro, you have that 2x optical zoom. So just in terms of pictures, yes, I will drop a link to the full reviews down below, but we're going to just talk about the differences here so you roughly have an idea which one to pick. Now, alright, so now done with the cameras, let's talk a little bit about actually what is similar between both devices. And this is where it's very, very important. This is all about performance. Now, in terms of power, both devices here actually come with the latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. It also comes with UFS 3.1 storage and LPDDR5 RAM. So just listening to these numbers, what you need to know here is that they're the most powerful that you can get to date. The strongest processor from Qualcomm, you have the fast storage UFS 3.1 and of course fast RAM LPDDR5. But in terms of the options available, don't forget what I mentioned earlier on in the video. You have 12 plus 256 for the Xiaomi 12 Pro, 8GB of RAM for the Xiaomi 12 and options for storage of 128 or 256GB. Now that's just in terms of the performance. Both devices here are running MIUI 13, which is the latest MIUI software. They both also come with the X-axis haptic feedback and it feels awesome. All your touches on the display, all the kinds of vibrations, it just feels so good. It's actually one of the best haptics that I have felt on any device to date. Alright, so last but not least, we got to talk a little bit about the battery life. Now you might think that the larger Xiaomi 12 Pro here might have a much more bigger battery than the Xiaomi 12, but you're actually going to be wrong there. It is bigger, but it's only bigger by a little bit. We do have a 4600 mAh battery for the Xiaomi 12 Pro, and on the Xiaomi 12 here, it is housing a 4500 mAh battery. So just 100 mAh difference, but the real difference here is in terms of the charging speeds. Now I'm going to show you their chargers very quickly because this is where it's different. For the Xiaomi 12 Pro, it also comes with a larger charger. This is a 120 watt fast charge and the device can charge from 0 to 100% in just 18 minutes, guys. That's under 20 minutes, super fast. And in terms for the Xiaomi 12, of course, since it's a smaller device, it also gets a smaller charger. This is a 67 watt charger and it also does 0 to 100% in 53 minutes. So again, much slower than the Xiaomi 12 Pro. If you want the fastest charging, you have to go with the 12 Pro. The 120 watt charger is just crazy and you get both of them in the box. Alright guys, so bottom line now, which device should you choose? Well, obviously, if you want the maximum power, you want to be future-proof, you want that better display, 2K guys, you want that better cameras at the back, triple 50 megapixel cameras, and of course, if you want that faster charging speeds, definitely you will have to check out the Xiaomi 12 Pro. But if you're in the market looking for something a little bit smaller, but you do not want to sacrifice on performance, you can also check out the Xiaomi 12 right here. Apart from having that awesome processor and RAM configuration, you also get a pretty stellar 50 megapixel camera at the back, and charging speeds wise is 67 watt, not really slow, but it's still acceptable. Alright guys, that's it for today's very quick look at both the Xiaomi 12 and Xiaomi 12 Pro. If you have any further questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. If you felt like this video helped you out, don't forget to drop a like, sub to the channel. I'll be going deeper into both devices right here, so I'll share my experience with you, and of course, I hope to see all of you guys in the next one. Stay safe everybody, bye!